Okay, so looking at this is showing Speaker Johnson says he's not going to release, or he's saying that he doesn't want the House to release the Ethics Committee report on Matt Gaetz. This brings up the question, why does he not want that to be released? There are a lot of people that are very concerned in the United States. Think about like the Save Our Children people that were into that movie Sound of Freedom with Tim Ballard. These people, they're going to be outraged, right? They're going to be outraged that we have this report by the Ethics Committee in the House on Matt Gaetz, where he's been accused of having been with minors. Okay, this report should obviously be released, but just looking at the hypocrisy of these people, that they, like, if they're not outraged about it, like, you have a powerful politician, someone who Trump said he wants him to be attorney general, and this person, like, there's evidence within this report that could show basically their guilt here. And so for Johnson to say that he doesn't want them to release the report, like, that's insane. So right here, I'm going to strongly request that the Ethics Committee not issue the report, because that is not the way we do things in the House. What does that even mean? This is not the way we do things in the House. According to who? Who says that the House can't turn over a report for someone that's been selected for like a presidential committee, for someone that's been like offered a key position in the executive branch? Attorney General is a very powerful position, and the American people have a right to know what is in that report. Okay, Johnson's comments also mark a reversal after he said on Thursday the Speaker is not involved with what happens in ethics. Lots of important reasons for that. Well, if he's not involved, why does he feel like he should be weighing in on the issue? So comments are significant move by the House GOP leader to block the release of a report from a probe that is supposed to be separate from the Speaker's office. So again, that's insane. That's really weird. Johnson, I'm not talking to anybody about what I've said to Trump. Johnson said, emphasizing that the Speaker's office has no involvement or understanding of the Ethics Committee's inner workings. I believe it's very important to maintain the House traditions of not issuing ethics reports on people who are no longer members of Congress. I think it would open a Pandora's box. Why should that not be available to the American people when he has been in a position of power, and when he could potentially be in an extremely important position of power? People have the right to know who their attorney general is. The Senate has a right to know more about his character before they would appoint him. What I'm saying is, if he's no longer a member of Congress, we are not in the business of investigating and publishing reports about people who are not part of this institution. Okay, well, he still would be a very important figure in the U.S. government. There's notwithstanding precedent for releasing ethics investigation materials after a member resigns, whether in the House or Senate. Well, if you're looking at precedent, you don't have a precedent for someone who's accused of what Matt Gaetz is accused of, being nominated for the attorney general position in the first place. So the idea of like, we need to follow precedent, there wasn't any precedent for this. There's bipartisan support for the Senate Judiciary Committee having access to this information. Chair Durbin will continue pursuing it so members of this committee can fulfill their constitutional obligation of advice and consent on this deeply problematic nominee. And this is just quoting, Democratic Rep. Glenn Ivey, who serves on the Ethics Committee. I think it's essential for them to get that kind of information. Okay, look at these allegations. Engaged in sexual misconduct and illicit drug use, accepted improper gifts, dispensed special privileges and favors to individuals with whom he had a personal relationship, and sought to obstruct government investigations of his conduct. Oh yeah, that stuff should definitely be brought to the public. And those that would be confirming this appointment in the Senate, they absolutely have a right to know of this. Okay, this is what Nancy Pelosi said. One would suspect the timing is suspicious because it was a matter of hours before the committee was going to release the report. And I don't know what the tradition is of the committee to say we can't let somebody exploit the timing of the report because there's a lot of work that goes into it. It defies belief that anyone could become the chief law enforcement officer of the United States of America with an outstanding House Ethics Committee investigative report that doesn't get released relating to potential misconduct. So again, we're just in unprecedented waters with this. Like, should it really surprise people that Trump himself, with the investigations that have gone into him, the lawsuits that he's experienced, is that really surprising that he would put someone like Matt Gaetz in this position? Hopefully, members of the Senate, Democrats, and enough Republicans that are willing to push back on this, because that's not a good look for the country. It's not a good look for the United States if Matt Gaetz becomes the Attorney General.